I'm 86 years old, and yesterday I sat in a courtroom and watched my own children fight over who gets my house when I die. Nobody asked me how I was feeling. Nobody looked at me. I sat there in my brown suit, the same one I wore to Ellen's funeral, and I listened to my sons argue about property lines and bank accounts while I was still breathing. That's when I knew I had to say this, before it's too late, before I become just another thing they divide up. I need to tell you how I built everything and lost everyone. Let me take you back. 1962. I was 23 years old, skinny as a lamppost, working at a steel mill in Gary, Indiana. The kind of place where the air tasted like metal and your hands were never clean. I made $87 a week, and I thought I was rich. I met Ellen at a church picnic. She was wearing a yellow dress and laughing at something her sister said. I walked up to her and my mouth went dry. I couldn't speak. She looked at me and said, "You gonna say something or just stand there like a scarecrow?" I married that woman 4 months later. We had nothing. Our first apartment had a bathtub in the kitchen. I'm not joking. You'd be cooking eggs and your wife would be taking a bath 3 feet away. We laughed about it. We laughed about everything back then. We were poor, but we didn't know it because we had each other. Then the children came. Danny first in '64, then Michael. Then little Rose, my only girl, born the same year they put a man on the moon. I remember holding her in the hospital and promising her the world. The world. That's a big promise from a man making $12,000 a year, so I worked harder. I took the night shifts nobody wanted. I volunteered for overtime. I missed Danny's first steps because I was loading freight onto trucks at 11 p.m. Ellen told me about it the next morning, and I said, "There'll be other steps." Like steps were something you could collect later. By 1975, I had worked my way up to floor supervisor. By 80, I was assistant plant manager. By 85, I was running the whole operation. 300 men answered to me. I had a parking spot with my name on it. I had a secretary who called me Mr. I thought I had made it. But here's what I didn't see. While I was climbing, my family was shrinking. Not in size, in closeness. In something I don't have a word for. I missed Danny's high school graduation because of a supplier meeting in Pittsburgh. I told myself it was important. I told myself he'd understand. He never said anything about it. That was worse. Michael, my middle boy, he stopped asking me to play catch when he was about 12. I didn't notice for 2 years. 2 years. One day I walked into the backyard with a glove, and he looked at me like I was a stranger and said, "I don't really play anymore, Dad." Rose learned to ride a bike from the neighbor's father. I found that out last year. She mentioned it casually, like it was nothing. She's 54 now. She mentioned it casually because to her it was just a fact. To me it was a knife in the chest. Ellen, my Ellen, she carried all of it. Every school play, every doctor's appointment, every nightmare at 3 a.m., every permission slip, every broken heart, every first day of school. She did it alone while I was out building an empire of steel and money that nobody in my family ever asked for. She told me once, 1978, we were lying in bed and she said, "Frank, the kids don't need a bigger house. They need their father." I said, "Just a few more years, then I'll slow down." I said that for 23 years. In 2001, I finally retired. I was 62. I had a pension, a lake house, 2 cars, and a portfolio my accountant said would last 3 lifetimes. I came home on my last day with champagne and flowers. I walked through the front door and said, "Ellen, it's time. Let's go to Italy. Let's do all the things we talked about." She was sitting at the kitchen table. She looked at me with those same brown eyes I fell in love with at that church picnic. And she said, "Frank, I've been waiting for you for 40 years. I'm tired." She wasn't angry. That was the thing. She was just empty. We went to Italy that summer. I booked the best hotels. I planned everything. We walked through Rome and Florence and stood on the cliffs of Amalfi, and she smiled. But it was the smile of someone who had already grieved something. She was there with me, but part of her had left a long time ago. She got sick the following spring, ovarian cancer. The doctors said she might have had it for a while before the symptoms showed. I've thought about that a lot. All those years she was carrying the family alone. Her body was already turning against her. And I was in meetings. She died in October. Leaves were falling outside her window, and she held my hand and said, "I know you love me, Frank. I just wish I'd felt it more." That sentence has lived in my chest for 23 years. After she passed, I tried to reconnect with my children. I called them. I visited. I showed up at their houses with gifts for the grandchildren. But there was a distance I couldn't cross. We were polite. We were family on paper. But the warmth, the easy comfort that families are supposed to have, it was missing. I had never built it. I had assumed it would just be there when I was ready. 3 years ago, Danny stopped returning my calls. I don't know why exactly. I think his wife doesn't like me. I think he's angry about things he's never said out loud. I think I remind him of every time I wasn't there. Michael lives in Seattle. I've seen him twice in 10 years. He's a good man, successful, busy, just like I taught him to be. Rose, my little girl, she visits on Christmas. She brings her children, and they hug me carefully, like I might break. They don't know me. I'm just the old man in the photographs, the one who was always at work. And now there's the lawsuit. Danny and Michael are fighting over the house. The lake house that I bought with my bonus in 1982. The one I thought would bring the family together for summers and holidays. We used it maybe 15 times in 40 years. Now they're arguing about it in court while I'm still alive. I sat there yesterday and I wanted to scream. I wanted to say, I'm right here. I'm not dead yet. Why are you fighting over things when I'm right here? But I didn't say anything because I realized I had taught them this. I taught them that things matter more than people. I taught them that money is how you show love. I taught them to work and earn and accumulate instead of sitting on the floor and playing with blocks, instead of being there. I built a fortune and I destroyed a family. I'm telling you this because you're probably making the same mistake right now. You're probably working late, telling yourself it's temporary. You're probably missing dinners and recitals and bedtimes, telling yourself there'll be more. You're probably married to someone who's learning to live without you, and you don't even know it yet. The promotion won't remember you. The corner office won't visit you in the nursing home. The bonus check won't hold your hand when you're dying. But that child waiting for you to come home, that spouse sitting alone at the dinner table, that parent whose calls you keep meaning to return, they won't wait forever. They'll adapt. They'll survive. They'll learn that you're not available. And one day you'll retire and turn around and realize you're standing in an empty house full of expensive furniture, and the only people who call are attorneys and financial advisors. I had everything. I have nothing. My children are strangers. My grandchildren don't know my stories. My wife died feeling alone in a marriage. And I'm 86 years old, sitting in this chair, talking to people I'll never meet because I have no one else to tell. If you're watching this and something in your chest feels tight, pay attention to that. That's your life trying to warn you. Go home early today. Put down your phone. Look your family in the eyes. Ask them questions and actually listen. Be there. Not later. Not someday. Now. Because someday becomes never faster than you think. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm tired, and the sun is going down outside my window. Another day ending. I don't know how many I have left, but if my story keeps even one person from making my mistakes, then maybe this old life was worth something after all. Maybe.